Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all well. In this video, I think it's about time. It's been nearly 3 months since we had the removal of the gifting badge, and I wanted to just have a look at the situation and whether or not the badge has actually been missed. The suspension or removal of the gifting badge was big news back in March, and it was something for a lot of players. They relied upon this to obviously get them resources in order to send from, say, one account to another. But there was also unscrupulous means where people were exploiting the system in order to gift more or exploit the system through fraud, which then meant that this system was being abused and Kabam had to take action on it. When things like this happen, sometimes it affects the community in different ways. For people that, they were legitimately kind of using the system in order to kind of swap resources between accounts in the most kind of nicest way possible, that was kind of cool. But also when it comes to exploiting, when it comes to gifting events at the end of the year, and let's face it, a lot of people picked up Thanos, so whether or not there was some fraud on that was kind of like meaning that people were getting Thanos but through bad means like fraud, then you have to look at the system and go, do you know what, Kabam have to make a decision, they have to take action. And unfortunately it didn't really go down as well as we would have hoped with the community. Well, nearly 3 months on and it doesn't look like we have any idea whether or not the gifting badge will come back. Personally, I don't think it will ever make a return. It will only sort of return when it comes to Christmas time, where, well, let's face it, there could be more fraud that's associated in order to get those top champions. Like last year we had Thanos, the year before I think it was Kang, from the purpose of spending lots of money in the game. But also you have to consider that people may be doing it from fraudulent means again. And one other concern for the player base was that what they were getting of value back. It's still much a further debate between the player base for those that don't have the badge or do have the badge and have a negative kind of look on this. But from the best part, and for what my personal opinion was, it would have been nice for Kabam to give back 850 units as opposed to the 300 that they were going to originally give back, and they did. At the end of the day, people would say, right, well, 300 units, we think that the value of the badge is 300 units, and so therefore you would have got 550 units to use. Because how this worked is you bought the 850 unit deal, which was the Tony Stark's briefcase, and that allowed you to have the gifting badge. So for a lot of players, they felt they weren't getting back the value, and for some they were like, do you know what, that is getting back the value. But my own personal takeaway from this is, in order to satisfy those that complained a lot about the fact the 850 units were not given back, and for those satisfied with the 300 units, in order to silence people and as well to kind of give back to the community, give back 850 units and the deal is done. Not many people will complain, and that means that you win over a larger amount of people than the less amount of people that would still continue to complain. It was only after a lot of criticism that they took the feedback and decided to award an additional 550 units, therefore making up to the 850 the original deal gave out. But even though saying that they would like to bring back the permanent gifting badge in some sort of capacity, my personal thought is they still won't actually bring that back, and it will come into question when we come to Christmas whether or not there will be a temporary gifting badge associated with that kind of event. This now leads me to the point now where I'm deciding to throw it over to you for discussion. I've already done this in my Discord. By the way, link is in the description to join my Discord. I have this thing called a collab area where from time to time I'll put a video suggestion that I'm trying to work for and get your opinions in order to structure that into the video. So far the opinion is shared that Kabam made the right call when getting rid of gifting in order to stop the means of fraudulent activity. And with everybody being unanimous around the idea that Kabam made the right decision to stop the fraud, I think for people in higher alliances will probably go down the route of going, do you know what, this is still frustrating, or you may be still receiving the pinch, because let's face it, they're grinding through glory a lot more quickly. Also, they're finding that maybe that they're stuck on some content and need something else. Does it mean that they're put into arena more? Yes. Or could it mean that they're spending more? Possibly. It is really hard to tell with that, but obviously if you're from a higher end alliance, please put it in the comment section if you are indeed feeling the pinch from gifting not being a thing anymore in game. And obviously for friends, YouTubers and things like that, receiving the odd energy refill is really helpful for us to grind through content. Now that I don't spend quite as much on the game as I used to, it is a case now that I have to grind out a lot more in arena. So I'm like, if I'm low on an energy refill, it's like, well, I've got to go into arena. Or I don't want to watch you play arena. Well, I can't do one or the other. It's a difficult one. The answer is that yes, your grind has to increase in order to get those resources to get yourself through the content, or you spend the money. The choice is yours. The final conclusion I want to come to is that how did this happen and could this be improved in the future? So, how did this all happen? It all starts and ends with credit card fraud, as I've said, but there's a little bit more to it. So, say I go to Joe Blogs. Joe Blogs is a site that sells health potions to you as a person. So you then go, right, could I have 1,000 health potions? No problem, you pay for it. You pay a small fee, so say we pay about £30, and therefore what they do is then they deliver that to you. How did Joe Blogs come about that money to get it? Oh no, it's not a case of money. What he did was he grinded out the units through legitimate means and then sent through the health potions based on the spend. No. Joe Blogs might have been committing credit card fraud by buying units through stolen credit cards, and as a result they're then gaining money for free. And that's how I understand this to be, and that's obviously the reason we do not have any gifting badges as of now, and maybe we will never get them back again. But if they were to come back, I like the idea that the One Master Gamer said, and that is to put an extent or a limit to how many of, say, health potions or revives you can send to one person each week. Does it solve the problem completely and people can still commit the fraud? Yes, that's still the case. It doesn't really kind of solve anything. But is there a way of kind of limiting that? Possibly. But again, same thing could happen. Creating multiple accounts and then obviously doing through multiple accounts, sending different kind of units and items and whatever through them, and that still starts the chain of it. It is difficult to then not find a loophole, because that's the thing, that everybody will find a loophole to this, and it could be a case we're back to square one, and then if we get the badge, then it will be quickly taken away. People will blame the developer for not getting their shit together. So that, I think, may be the reason that this is either the badge will come back and it will be years down the line, or it will never come back, or it could just come back for Christmas. But again, there's risks with that. There's a risk factor. So this Christmas is going to be weird. Maybe we won't get it. There we have it, guys. That has been the video, just looking at the state of affairs with the gifting badge 3 months nearly on, and whether or not and how people feel about the current situation with that. And the answer really is that people aren't really bothered, especially because we've got to stop this kind of credit card fraud stuff. It's the most important thing. There's going to be people that are going to be punished by this, and there's people that are able to make money off of nothing, essentially, because let's face it, they're not grinding out units for free. The same problem that I think that happened back in the days with World of Warcraft, and the way that people were just exchanging the gold system. It's still pretty much a bad system as it is, but the selling of accounts as well, you know, people getting fraud and just like screwed over. There's a bad part to this kind of thing. But hey ho, what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comment section below about the gifting badge. Do you think it'll ever come back? Have you got a better idea to keep it safe? Have your thoughts and say in the comment section below. And as well, like this video if you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button as well, and I shall catch you in the next video. Bye bye for now.